tighten down the 4 screws on the bottom and adjust the mesh. Okay, so now we have a look at the bottom of the chassis, and same thing like when I was working on the top side, wanting to have the engine squared up to the engine mount. I'll do the same thing when adjusting it here on the bottom. So it's okay whether you want to push the engine towards the back or pull it towards the front. For the angle that I'm at right now, it'll be better or easier for me if I pull the engine towards the front. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of snug down one screw and check the mesh. And again, pulling the engine forward or pushing it back is going to just square the engine mount up to the chassis so that the clutch bell and spur gear are kind of more in line with one another. That way the engine's not at an angle. So right now the mesh is a little bit on the loose side. So I'm going to shift it just a little bit closer. But again, pull the engine forward. So now I have basically no backlash at all. It's perfectly tight. So from there, I can take my 2.5 wrench and just apply just a little bit of pressure to the flywheel and give myself just a little bit of gap. Go just a touch more. And once I have the gap that I want, I'll go ahead and tighten one other screw across from the original one, check the mesh, and then I can go ahead and crank down the remaining screws. And again, I use a little bit of blue thread lock on those screws. So now I'm going to move it in even closer, and I'm going to go ahead and hold the clutch bell with my left hand and then take and show you the end play between the clutch bell and the spur gear. And you'll want to check that 3 or 4 positions, check it, roll the gears around a little bit, check it again. And as you can see, it just has the slightest amount of rock back and forth. Then what I'll do is use a little bit of the ProTech white grease. This is the same grease that I use on my ring and pinions. And I'll just lightly coat the spur gear. And what that'll do is just help the gears last a little bit longer. It'll make the mesh a little bit quieter. But the big thing is just having
well, there you go, people. You heard it from the man, the myth, the legend. Whenever I want to learn or get really, or how should I say, whenever the Muggie wants to sharpen his technical skills, that's who I go to. Yeah, sure, John's great. All these guys that I've learned from. That guy is there. Do I need to say anything? That's the man. 30 plus years experience. So if you think that you're all about, hey, I've, been around, I've been on YouTube, I've stripped so many, well, you've probably stripped so many gears because you're an idiot. You're the guy that needs to slam your finger in the car door 10 times. And I've heard people say, oh, well, I went through a lot of gears and I have a lot of experience with, gear mesh and all that. And I have a little bit too. Have I stripped gears? A few, but not a lot. I don't need to strip thousands of gears. I don't need to go through, that just shows me when people tell me that you're an idiot because you had to go through that many times of stripping gears before you freaking figured it out. I didn't. You know what I did when I stripped gears? I went to that guy. That's what I did. I went to Adam Drake and said, hey, this is the deal. can you, you know, is there, how do you do the gear mesh thing? You know, because obviously I was learning, and I'm still learning. I wouldn't say I'm the best gear mesher, but that's who I learned it from. So if you want, like I said, again, if people want to ask, how do I know, or who are you to say, or whatever, well, then I guess Adam Drake doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. That's what I got to say to that. So if you want to question, or anybody wants to question, and I'm just putting this out there because I want to let you guys know where I get my info from. I don't just make this up. I don't just, you know, watch some has-been or some, you know, old school guy that's been around for eons on YouTube. And, you know, there's so many channels on that have gear meshing, you know, but why mess with all them knuckleheads out there, or whoever you are? I just go to that guy. 30 plus years of experience. Gentleman. Professional. Man, that guy's so cool. Still doing videos. One of the old schools. Like I said, to me, Adam Drake, and for those of you that know NASCAR or you know, anything about real racing, he is the Dale Earnhardt, or I should even say more than that. You know, no respect to Dale Earnhardt, but Richard Petty was the king before Dale Earnhardt was, if you know anything about racing. Before Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator, he was called, because he intimidated people, there was the king, Richard Petty. Raced for STP. Well, it was one of his main sponsors. They called him the king. He retired a long time ago. I think his sons still race. I don't follow NASCAR too much anymore. It's the same 10 rednecks every year anyway that win. So I think they ought to go the opposite way of the track. Instead of going, you know, I think they go, yeah, instead of going left, they ought to go right and see who wins then. I would fuck them all up, I bet, because they're used to going one way. But anyway, Richard Petty was the king. Adam Drake, that guy's the king, man. I give that guy respect so much, and especially the fact that he's still, you know, being around as long as he has. He doesn't need to do any videos at all. He's probably one of the very few pros on the circuit today that still uploads videos. He's local to me. He races at a track that's not too close, but it's, you know, a couple hours away from me. I want to get out there. It's been a long time. I used to live out by that track. It's called Revelations. It's in Ontario. Not Canada. It's a city in Ontario. And Muggies Siki Corporation is about 30 minutes from here. It's in Irvine. I live in, you know, Orange County area. So I'm like 30 minutes from there, where he does a lot of his videos. And there's a place called the Nitro House that has a lot of, they carry a lot of aftermarket stuff that's been discontinued, like Hyper and, you know, Mugen stuff. You can get anything. The guy that I talked to there, his name's Mike, he's the owner. I talk to him every once in a while because I order stuff from them, because they got like all the Mugen, older Mugen stuff that I need for my MBX5R, he carries. Whenever I ever had to get parts for it, I've got it from him, and he always tells me, yeah, I talk to Adam all the time, man. I said, man, that must be cool to have Adam Drake come over to your shop, man, because I guess he's like right next door. Muggies Siki's right next door. That's Muggies Siki Corporation for the U.S. They're from Japan. But anyway, to get back to what I was talking about, that's where I learned a lot. Whenever I needed some kind of technical support, I just pop up Adam's videos, and he usually will respond to most anybody's emails or whatever. You know, he's got back to me, and he even said, hey, I don't know a lot, because I told him I had an MBX 5R. He's like, man, you got the old school. He didn't come until around the end of the 6s, the 7s, and then now the 8s. You know, he's only been with Mugen for a few years now. Everybody knows he was with Team Losi for a long time. You know, Horizon ran him off, and ever since then, Losi just went downhill. I mean, as far as racing. And they still make decent stuff. But anyway, so Adam said, did you hear what he said? You look, he tells you there's a rock. It's called the rock. which means it rocks back and forth your gear mesh. Now, I know one thing I learned from him is it's better to be, like he said, it's better to have your gear mesh, if you're going to go one side or the other, better to have it too tight than too loose. I think that's important, because you have it too loose and the gears are knocking together, you're going to strip gears out. You're going to knock teeth out. I've knocked teeth off pinions, pinions, and I've knocked tons of teeth off spurs. But because I was dealing with plastic spurs, when I first threw a real motor with a real, back plate, no pull start bullshit on the Muggie, I had plastic spur gears. Okay? And man, especially when you have plastic spur gears and you got a steel pinion and your mesh is a little off, bzz, like a buzzsaw, just fucking rip. I went through a couple of them, but I didn't need to go through tons of them. That was the only time that I've ever stripped any gears at all. I've never stripped them since then, ever, on the Muggie MBX7. Sick looking whip here. Okay, and I definitely haven't stripped any on the Techno. Don't need to, because and I've never stripped any on the Muggie Buggy. Only I guess, because this was my first, the XTN Mammoth. Only this thing. This was my test vehicle, man, where I made all my mistakes on. And it didn't cost me as much because, actually it kind of did. It cost me time because they don't make that anymore. So for me to hunt down spur gears, and eventually I got steel gears, man, that shit took forever. Okay? But now, now we got steel. So at least, but this steel spur has knocked teeth off of the 2-speed pinions that I went through. That's when I just start running 2-speed. Most people don't really run 2-speed anymore. I might eventually put it back on, but I like the single speed. I liked 2-speed for a while, and I just like that second gear, wah, wah, and it kicks in the second gear, but there's not any place where you have enough room to run second gear unless you're running in a parking lot. But anyway, so Adam said, like I said, it's called the rock. Your shit rocks back and forth, right? Where's my Muggie needs to find his professional little, sorry, I'm looking for my professional little camera stand action that I usually have laying around somewhere. The hell did I put with it? But anyway, so yeah, whenever I needed to learn or know anything technical, I would just go to Adam Drake's videos. Gear mesh, whatever it is. He has all kinds of videos because he does videos all the time on a lot of stuff that's very helpful. And that's where I learned, how to do my shit. So let's check. Let's do a check on the Muggie. All right, let's check on the Muggie. See if the Muggie is doing his shit right. Okay, can you guys see this? I hope so. We'll see it. Can you see that? All right. Now let me hold. Gotta hold the bell. And let's see if we got a little rock in here. What he calls a rock. Okay, fine. Okay, here. Can you see that? Let me turn my jams off. Okay. Okay, it says rotate it a couple times. You guys see that? Hold your bell, the bell housing that's, where your pinion's attached to. Take your finger and you have that little rock. See that? A little rocking. Rotate it a couple times. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but Just a little rock. I mean, like I said, it's better to have it tighter than looser. You know, mine's, I don't say mine's the perfect, but I don't strip gears. I don't need to strip 400 fucking gears to learn. If you're going through stripping a lot of gears, obviously you're not learning. You're fucking keep slamming your finger in the car door, and I guess you just like that. I only had to strip about, I think, maybe 3 or 4 plastic spur gears. And I did it on the XTM. Since then, this was a while back, I've never, ever stripped a gear since then. Never. I repeat, never. Never on any of my vehicles. Not even once. Sure, if I had some abnormal wear where you see a little bit of the metal and you're like, okay, well, your shit's a little off. And you better address that before you start stripping gears. That's happened on occasions, but not rarely. Why? Because I learned from Adam. When I watched that video, and that video's been out for a long time, I was like, oh shit, that's what I'm doing wrong. And I always, you know, I don't have the white lithium, but I run a little bit of grease on my gears, like he just showed you, just to make them last longer. You can also take the piece of paper, you know, like not thick, not thin. You know, I'm talking about like you know, writing paper or whatever. Put it in your between your pinion and your spur gear, and just kind of push the spur gear and roll the paper in, and then you should be able to pull the paper out slowly. Just grab the piece of paper, pull it out, and it should leave little indentations. Okay, that's one way people do it. I've tried that. I mean, it's more on sound. I mean, it's more on what you hear, the way it sounds. Okay, and the way it feels, like Adam just showed you. You feel that little bit of rocking back and forth, just that little gap. Okay. You know, and I do the same thing. I just tighten one of the mounts on the bottom. I get them all snug, not real snug, but just put them all snug a little bit, and I use one to tighten it. And you always want to go across from one to the other, you know what I'm saying, in a diagonal, not straight across. That's how I tighten and loosen, you know, kind of like the star deal that you do when you're tightening screws. You know, you've heard that before, but okay, now, since we did that, let's see if it sounds. Because a lot of times you can hear just the way it sounds. I use that. I use the sound too. Let's see what it sounds like. Let me turn my got my heater on. So, there we go. Okay, let's hear what it sounds like. Well, sounds okay to me. I don't know. You guys tell me. Does that sound pretty smooth? Is that the perfect mesh? Well, you be the judge. All I know is what I tell you guys. This is what works for me, and I don't strip gears, and I don't need to strip, excuse my language, fucking dozens of fucking gears, and then I can say, man, I've stripped so many gears. I know. Know what? You're a fucking idiot because you didn't learn after fucking the first couple. I did. I didn't need to strip out tons of gears, and I haven't done it yet. Now you can put Loctite in your motor, your screws that when you mount your motor in. I've never done that. Well, I can't say never, but I don't need to because I've never had them come loose. That's just me. Maybe I've just had good luck. I don't know. Sounds and feels good to me. And that's the way I always do it. And I've never stripped any gears out since. So, you do what you want. I'm just giving you the information, okay, that I get from my sources. And my source, whenever it comes to technical shit, you know, I go to other guys. I go to John. You know, I've learned, hey, Raja has a great video. You know, Raja will teach you, it will show you also how to do a perfect I mean, or how to do your gear mesh right, you know? Some people call it the tick. Tick, tack, talk. I like Adam's word, rock. Gotta have that little rock. This sounds cooler, rock. Maybe because I like the Muggie Maniac likes to rock. So anyway, that was a good little 20-minute thing. But now we're going to spend the next at least 20 to 25 minutes. Because, you know, the Muggie's got to do a little bit of it. You know, I'm doing around 45. I'm trying to cut the videos, keep them, you know, around 45 minutes or so. But I can't guarantee anything. Because, you know, the Muggie, sometimes he just goes on a rampage. Or maybe he has to address an issue because somebody's being an idiot. You know, I don't want to waste my... Let me tell you guys one thing. I don't want to waste my time anymore, you know, on people that aren't worth wasting my time. There's too many haters out there, and people want to check you and keep you in check like there's some fucking regulator, you know, or people think there's some kind of fucking YouTube. Excuse my language. This is where the Muggie's going to get fired up real quick, so excuse me. Think there's some kind of governor or regulator to YouTube. You know what? Fuck off already. Here, you want to test me? Test me, because I got tons of legit, certified, you can even call it, backup. Adam Drake, that's my frickin' mad science teacher right there. That's who I learned from, and that's who I go to still and will always till I stop doing nitro or go on to Fitzco, whatever. I ever need anything technical, boom, I pop up Adam Drake, whatever, he addresses everything, man. Everything and anything. And it's cool, and the reason I like going to Adam too is because he has Muggies. I did go to Ryan, I still go to Ryan Lutz, because Ryan Lutz has a lot of good info on Technos, because he ran Technos for only a year, unfortunately. I wish he would have stayed longer. I really liked Ryan. He's one of the only few guys too, with all the teams he's been with, that does videos like Adam. And Ryan is he's a different character. He's really mellow. He's good though. I've learned how to set up my shocks from Ryan. I learned how to adjust my linkage. If you guys want to learn how to go on Techno on YouTube, Techno Ryan Lutz, show how to adjust your throttle linkage. Adam Drake does it too. Okay, so, you know, I want to spend more time on explaining to you guys, but I just want to throw you guys out. How does the Muggie get his information? Well, how can I trust this guy knows what he's talking about? Well, because I learned from that guy, Adam Drake. There's my certification right there. Does that still mean that, okay, well, I'm the best now? Because no, it doesn't. It just putting it out there, that's who I learned from. I learned all my technical shit, like I just showed you, from him. And you don't need to know 20,000 different ways. That's a basic. That's why I like Adam too, because he's basic. Even though he's got it down to a science, he doesn't get all freaking all over the place and give you all these big words and give you the fucking, you know, chemistry to it. You know, he keeps it simple and basic, but yet he is, you know, got it down to a science. You know, so anyway, welcome all Muggie Maniacs, Truggy Maniacs, Buggy Maniacs, Monster Truck Maniacs. Okay, well, I'm not going to throw you guys, you know, to the side. Just, if you got a Savage, sell that thing. Okay, get rid of it. Do yourself a favor. Do like John Botajel did. Got rid of his, you know, he has a couple that he keeps, but I don't think, I'm pretty sure he got rid of his Savage. It's just going to become a headache. It's too much to, you know, it's a lot of BS. You know, once you run a Truggy, trust me, you won't even mess with your Savage no more. I don't care how fun it is. I don't have one, okay, and I keep thinking of getting one because I like trucks, period. It is a monster truck, but I just, like I said, I can't do the Polestar until maybe I come up or somebody comes up with a way that you can run a Savage on a bump box or some way without having to use a rotor motor with a rotor start on the back or a Polestar. I'll get a Savage, no problem. But because of that, I won't get one. I won't get anything where you got to use the Polestar or the bump box. Or the rotor start. I'm already getting weirded out because of fifth scale. You gotta, you know, back to fucking pulling shit again. You know, it's almost like reverting back, you know, when people get old, when you're young, when you're a baby and you're born, you have diapers, right? You shit yourself and everything. Well, when you get older and you become old, you know, old fuck, excuse my language, depends, you got to put on the adult diapers. So it's kind of, you're reverting back to the same. It's the same thing that I look at it with the pull starting. Some people, and I started out with the pull starters. I did the rotor. I've done it, all that pull start, rotor start bullshit. That's why I know. It's bullshit. Now that I look back on it, do I regret that I ever did it? Yes and no. Yes, I regret because I could have just bypassed all that bullshit. But no, I don't regret it because I learned from that. And that's why I can relate to people that are pull starting and rotor starting. It's all a bunch of bullshit. And then when I did my research and found out that it's robbing your motor of around 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs, I was like, oh, hell no. Fuck that. Let me fucking get away from that bullshit and let me seal the back up. Like I said, once again, the first motor that I sealed was this badass Hyper 21, .21 Hyper. They have an 8-port that I want because I know they're collectible and they don't make them anymore. But this one here has got about maybe 2 gallons through it. It's still brand new. I got it in the lot. I paid basically $40 for this motor. And it didn't have a carburetor, no big deal. And it had that bullshit turbo, they call it turbo fan, pull start on it. And I took that shit off right away. Put this carburetor, which this isn't the original. This is the Kyosho carburetors that come on the .25s. Fit on there perfect. A little touchy to tune. Took me a minute. But I got it dialed in. Oh, I run this thing again, man. This is a badass motor. This was the first motor that the Muggie Maniac ran in my MBX5. That's the first motor that I ran in there. And, you know, it had some shim issues, and this is where I learned how to shim, do the head shimming, and we'll get into that stuff later. That's, for the newbie, don't worry about head shimming. Just worry about trying to get a basic tune. And, you know, and the things that we're talking about. The basic fundamentals. Once you get those down, then you can go into the other shit. But anyway, this is a badass motor. And I put it, as soon as I sealed the back, because I found a back plate for it, man, this motor just like woke up. It was a different motor compared to the pull start. Bullshit. It's not even the same motor. But anyway, I wouldn't mind getting another one of those. That's a 5-port. I want to get the 8-port. So anyway, welcome all you guys, you know, Muggie Maniacs. You know, had to get some, you know, kind of just give you guys a feel for where I'm coming from. You know what I mean? I'm not just talking out my ass. I'm not just making up shit. You know, some people seem to think so. But hey, I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. And that's not, all I want to do is just, if I help you out and you give me the feedback, and I have been having guys tell me, hey, thank you for this, I don't take all that credit. The credit goes to Adam Drake, goes to John Botajel, goes to Raja 111, goes to Elite RC. These are my main, those 4 guys are my main go-to guys. Raja, you know, if I ever got back into racing, you know, all the way, hey, I still watch his channels all the time because I support Raja. He's a great guy, man. Guy's my nicer brother. Shout out to Raja, you know, doing a good job. You know, he's teaching you guys, you know, and congrats to his 300 subscribers that he got. So I know to some people that's nothing. I think it's awesome. I mean, shoot, man, I would have never thought I would have got to 100. And I really don't care. Some people are like, oh, man, I got more viewers than you got. Who gives a fuck? I don't. I don't do this for any viewers, subscribers. I don't care if nobody watches this and I'm talking to myself. This is a way that I like to express how I feel about 8-scale nitro and give you the information the best that I can with what I know and armed with all the facts that I learned from guys like Adam, Raja, John Botajel, you know, Mr. Za, Elite RC. I talk to Elite, you know, I haven't talked to him in a while, but we talk all behind the scenes, you know. There's a few guys that off the tube that I talk to personally that are always coaching me and giving me, you know, and helping me out, you know, when I get stuck or whatever, you know. And those are guys that I go to. And you know, Sometimes you got to figure stuff out yourself. It's trial and error. I always say that. Trial and error. You will learn from your mistakes. It's just how many mistakes you want to make and how many of the same ones you want to make. Okay? Remember that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again. Same thing. And expecting a different result or a different outcome. You, excuse my language, are a fucking idiot. Okay? So quit banging your head against the wall. Quit slamming your finger in the fucking car door. And learn and move on. Okay? So there's a guy. I think his name is Nitro Only or Nitro Only Nitro, something like that. I'm sorry if I can't. I'm bad with names and stuff. But this guy, he has an accent. If you're watching this video, Mr. Nitro RC or whatever, he's in Europe somewhere. I'm getting a lot of guys subscribe. They're from out of this country, which is cool because they're not dealing with all the bullshit videos and shit for the most part that, you know, they don't, you know what I mean? They're fresh, man. These guys just want to learn the basics. And I can teach you the basics. I mean, I know other shit too, but, you know, I mean, I'm not the best at it. I'm not going to say that my teaching is the best. My information is not the best. Mine is the most accurate. Mine is it. Mine is the final word. I never have said that, and I never will. I always tell you guys, hey, do your homework, research. Just don't get one doctor's opinion. And I don't even consider myself a doctor, you know. Get more opinions. Watch other people. Check out other videos. Just find one that suits you or one that you think you're learning from. Or that you've actually took what they told you and you applied it and it worked. Because remember, this shit only works. Is only good as the person that applies it. I can give you all the information and give you all that shit, but if you don't apply it, it doesn't fucking matter. Excuse my language. Or it can fall on deaf ears. You know? So, this guy has got an MBX7. He said he got it because of watching my videos, and I thought that was cool. I'm not going to toot my horn and say, oh, man, yeah, I'm the one that's responsible for this guy getting, you know, whatever. I don't even take the credit. And I you know, I'll tell people that, hey, you know, might want to give John botajel credit or Rod. Those guys are before me. Those guys have got way more subscribers than I did. But if, you know, if it's because that he watched my video, man, that's so cool. That means a lot to me. I take that personal. I take a lot of stuff personal sometimes, but I shouldn't. And people tell me that all the time. Hey, Muggie, don't take it personal. Don't let it get personal, man. Because people want to kind of knock you off your game. They kind of want to rattle your cage. People want to check you. You can't check me. The fuck you think you are? I don't get rattled easy. I will never stop doing what I'm doing and alter anything because of one person or two or whoever. I don't care. There's haters out there. Okay? And I don't spend wasting my time and energy on people like that. Let me spend time on teaching people and helping people. Okay? So anyway, this guy has an... oh, by the way, I only have a small fleet, too. Look, I've only got 4 vehicles, man. And I don't want a lot of vehicles. I'm going to get 2 more, and then I'm going to shut it down and just accumulate all the hop-ups and goodies and shit that I want and all the extras and stuff for 6 vehicles. 6 is my mark. Okay? And I can tell you the next 2 will probably be a buggy. So that'll give me 2 buggies, 2 truggies. I've already got a Muggie, or whatever you want to call it. And I want to get a low-C Muggie. I have decided that but it's going to probably take me a while because I'm going to have to find the one I want, the way I want it, how it's been maintained, how the person's been... Those are all key factors of how I buy my vehicles. I don't just look at it and, wow, it's a great deal, looks okay, let me get it. I've never done that. I did my homework, did my research, made sure that these vehicles were, when I got them, I didn't have to replace half the shit. Okay? Maybe tear it down, put it back to its original state, condition, which is what I did with all these, and come with a lot of extra parts. Because parts are important. Because shit's going to break, you know, especially if it's a vehicle that they don't make, that's not around anymore. Like that one's retired. The XTM, it's discontinued. The MBX5, you can still get a lot of stuff for it. That was one of the reasons I went with that one as my second and my first buggy. Then I went with the, I think it was Techno. And then the last one I got was the MBX7. So this is when I was like, man, I want a Truggy, but I want a Truggy that's like legit, you know, top notch, full pedigree, so to speak. You know, and when I did all the research, this Techno is like, psh, I don't regret it. And then I always wanted, you know, because I already had a Mugen, I wanted a Mugen Truggy. And I got an MBX7. And I love that thing too. You know, people say, well, what would you choose, your MBX7 TR or your NT 48.3 Techno? And it's hard, and I would hope that I would never have to choose because I love both of these Truggies. They're both, you know, not only the only ones I have, but I just love them both. But I would have to keep the Techno, and I would have to let that one go. And I would probably cry. I'm just kidding. No, but if I had to choose, that's my choice. Just because this thing's a badass. This thing, there is nothing like this, man. This thing is built like a tank. It's a beast. I mean, look at the thing. It's lean and it's mean. No, it's not. The Mugen's a badass too, man. I love that vehicle. It handles. It's durable. You know, and I've already known that because I had the buggy and I beat the shit out of this buggy all the time. So anyway, this guy got an MBX7, Nitro, whatever his name is. He knows who he is. And he's having some issues. Now, the first one I know he had is he said he broke a pillow ball. I've never heard anybody breaking a fucking pillow ball. I don't even know how you do that. Like, the person he got it from before must have dropped the thing off fucking buildings. Excuse my French. Muggie's got a little French going on right now. But, yeah. Now, he doesn't have this. I noticed he had to make something. He didn't have the radio... the battery holder that connects to the radio tray. You know what? I might have one of those. If you shoot me on my, you know, off the site, you can go to my inbox, and I might just have a, let me see what the Muggies got. I might just have an extra battery holder, and I will send it to you. I mean, it don't cost like, you know, $100 to ship the damn thing, but I know I had an extra one that I'm using on the buggy now because it didn't have one. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But I suggest don't run that aluminum that you got on there. Mr. Nitro guy, Hobby Nitro only, I think his name is. RC Nitro, whatever. Yeah, don't run that aluminum plate on there. I don't recommend that. I mean, you do what you want. I don't think it's good to run that aluminum. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it might not hurt anything, but especially, you know, around electronics, running aluminum plate like that. I just wouldn't. You know, I mean, you can make this. I mean, he seems like a pretty, you know, ingenious guy. It's just a piece of plastic. That's all it is. You know? But I wouldn't use the aluminum thing, personally. I mean, you do what you want. Piece of plastic. I mean, you can cut it out of a freaking mud guard. Take a mud guard, cut it in a square like this, and make one. Make one of these. But I wouldn't use aluminum. I don't recommend it. But you do what you want. So anyway, the other problem he had is this throttle linkage. Man, I will send you, I got so many of these, a pack of throttle linkages. Now I forgot who it is, Lutz, or maybe it's Drake. He will take the end of here, the throttle linkage, and take a needle nose, not why it's on the vehicle, obviously, and he will bend it at an angle. That way, when you're, you know, you want to give it some throttle, you don't have to grab this and pull on it. You can just go like this with your finger, wing, 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 because it's got an angle in it. You know, pretty cool. He actually made his, you know, this guy made his own, you know, rod. I mean, I've got a box of them. I check them, but you don't need to change them all the time. Although it's good to keep up on them. You know, especially these are what you want to check. These here, I don't know if you can see that. See how they get all chewed up? Yeah, no bueno. Matter of fact, I don't even know why the fuck I even have that thing. That thing goes right there in the trash can. But I've got tons of them that, you know, and there's different kinds, but even that one, look at that one. Why do I have these things? Good thing, you know, I'm checking this. Look at, see how it's got the radius has changed? The inner diameter, it's like bent. Like, I don't want to fucking, I'm never going to put that on anything. You know, you want to check those things because they get messed up and you got popping them on and off. So they're like pennies, man. See this? Brand new one. This one's good. That's how you want them. Because, believe it or not, you guys might not know this, and let me fill you in on a little thing. That shit will affect your throttle. And the way that your throttle, you don't want that, these things when they get worn out, okay, the little ball ends, deals, will affect your throttle linkage on the smoothness. You want that thing so smooth. You don't want this thing binding at all. I oil mine all the time. I take a little bit of like bearing oil or Tri-Flow or whatever. I wouldn't use grease. I use Tri-Flow or even 3-in-1. Just a couple drops right in here just to keep this, because it slides back and forth. You want that it's nice and smooth. If you feel it and it's hanging up any, it's just, you know, sometimes it's maybe not in the right angle and you'll pull on it and it's got a little grinding kind of. You don't want that. You need to adjust that shit. You want your throttle nice and buttery and smooth, man. I mean, that's you want your throttle to fucking stick, you're fucked. Your shit's gonna run away right into a wall. Have that happen to me? Yep, that's what I can tell you. Been there, done that. So anyway, that was that one of them. And what was the other issue that he had? I know I wrote that shit down because I have a couple goodies. I don't know if we'll get to them. If not, they're no big deal because they're not a big deal. Throttle linkage. See, I wrote it on here what this guy's issues were. See, I mean, this shit's important to me. This is one guy. I'm not the guy that's going to say, well, I got a lot of requests and I decided to do a video on this. So, I mean, a lot of people ask. Hey, if one person asks me if I can't, it's better for me to explain. I'll put it all into a video, you know what I mean? And I told him I was going to do a video, you know, kind of on what the issues he was addressing, because I'm sure he's not the only one. So the throttle linkage. Battery holder, we covered that. Pillow balls. Shock setup. He said his shock setup. That's what the last one. Now, let me tell you about Muggie shocks. These are probably one of the best shocks on the market, my opinion. Only my opinion. People will beg to differ. I think these shocks they're smooth butter. Even the ones that I have on here, these fucking things are like 15 years old by now, and they don't even have the threads. These are like, what, 14 millimeter, maybe 15? These are 16. These things here are smooth as butter still to this day. That's why I haven't changed them. I want to put these ones on. A lot of guys that say, hey, you should put the new Muggie 16 millimeter shocks on your, you know, your OG Muggie buggy. And I was like, well, why? Those shocks work fine. I've never had a problem. Those things are money. Yeah, but, you know, kind of, you want to keep up, you know, for what? Hey, if you're replacing shit just because it's newer, I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy that's going to replace shit. And trust me, I've done it before. And then like, okay, why did I spend the money? Now, matter of fact, it doesn't even handle the same now. I fucked up the handling, and I thought it was going to be better because I put newer shocks on it. Well, newer isn't always better. Not for an old school platform. Maybe this design was made for that shock. You ever think of that? So I might put these badass shocks on there, and this thing just, you know, doesn't perform the way, you know, it should. These shocks, still, as old as they are, money. Money all day long. Low maintenance. And these are old Muggie. You know, like I said, I think Muggie, even 13 years ago, was way ahead of anything. That's why you don't have to change a lot. This buggy is a race kit already. There isn't any upgrades I can do to it. It has all the upgrades already with it. Front and rear. I mean, even the chassis braces. These I got custom. Titanium. I got titanium. I didn't even need that. And that was my bling bling. You know, but everything else, carbon fiber, thickest fucking aluminum shock towers that are even out there. They're even thicker than these ones. See these? These are like I believe they're like 3.5, 4 millimeter, maybe. I haven't really measured them, so I don't know the exact measurement. These? I measured these. These are 5 millimeter. That's thicker than the fucking chassis. So, I ran that thing into the walls, man. That thing's a fucking tank. But anyway, the rear shocks, granted that they're stock, the pistons, which is the plastic piece inside that has the little holes. I'll do a video later. I've done it a long one. I got deleted on shocks, how I set up my shocks, how I maintain them. And I learned that from Ryan Lutz. Ryan Lutz has a really, really good basic video on shock setup. And I learned that from him. Adam does too. I just like the way that Ryan did it. And that guy's a legend too. Ryan Lutz, that guy's been around for a long time. I use 50 weight, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I think, yeah, I use 50 in the back and I use 45 in the front. But you use what you want. That's for bashing. If I was racing, it's different. You know? I don't even know what setup I would use for racing. I'd have to do some research. Because I haven't raced in a while. I don't race anymore. I used to. And I was even racing. And I've thought about it, but it's just, I can't run what I want. I can't run something like this on a racetrack. They'll like tell me, fucking, beat it, kid. You can't be running modified .28s and screaming ass 9886 pipes on here. Yet alone try to run an end bleed. They would kick your ass out of there. They want it nice. They don't want it too noisy. Run your little .21. You know, like the rest of the guys. Fuck that. That's why I don't race. If they come out with an open class again, where you can race whatever you want, because they used to back in the day, I'll be all over that shit like a hobo on a hot dog. Trust me. So anyway, that's for the newbie guy. That's what I would do. I wouldn't use that aluminum thing on there. Make something out of plastic. Your linkage, you're cool on your linkage. Just make sure you check it. Oh, and one quick note. You want to make sure your throttle linkage, and sometimes even I do because of my setup, I have to turn my carburetor a little bit angled, but just make sure whatever angle your carburetor is in, that your throttle linkage, you want it to have the most even pull as you can. Sometimes you might have to go in a little angle, but you know, as long as it's smooth and long as your carburetor chamber opens up when you pull it after it's mounted, nice and smooth. You don't want it binding at all, because that'll fuck you. I mean, that'll affect the way your shit runs. Trust me, I know, I've done it before. So anyway, and shock oil, do what you want. Maybe you might want to start out. I would just suggest start out for Mr. Nitro, RC Nitro, or whatever, on your Mugen. Do and I recommend Losi or Associated, whatever you can get. I think you're in Europe somewhere. I don't know. I'd like to know. Let me know when you make a comment next time after you watch this where you're from, so I know where you're from. And let me see if I do have another one of these battery holders, I will send you one, as long as it's not fucking $20 to ship it. You'll pay the shipping, but I'll send you the part. How about that? That's fair. I'll give you the part. I have extra shit, extra. When I got this Mugen, it came with like 4 of everything. That's why I've been able to use some of it on this. Hey, I mean, if you need an extra NBX7 radio carbon, this is a carbon fiber. These things are fucking $20. I only have one. I don't see breaking it. I mean, I only need one. I've got like 2 or 3 of these, maybe 4 of these. Guy gave me a package of this shit. And this guy, that's what I'm saying. When I buy my shit, I'm making sure they're hooking me up with lots of parts, because people will. There's kits out there, and you got to be patient. And if you look where you can get kits, mint condition, decent price, tons of extra shit. If they don't come with any extra parts, but maybe a couple, I'm next. I'm going on to the next page. I'm looking at buggies right now. I am on the horn right now. I'm telling you, in the next few weeks, you will see a brand new, badass, sick-ass whip. And it's not going to be, I've got my old school. It's going to be something more current. Whether it might be a newer Kyosho, Techno, Another Mugen? I don't know if I want to get another Mugen buggy, because even the new Mugen buggies aren't even built like this thing. This thing is built better than the new Mugen buggies. Now, if I was going to race 8-scale buggies, definitely I would get I'd get an 8. But for bashing, this is fine. That's why I probably won't get another Mugen buggy. And I've got a Mugen buggy and a Truggy. I want to get, more than likely, if I can find it, I'm going to look. I will either be getting a Techno, newer Techno, brand new, not a brand new, but, you know, new to me, old to you guys, used, or whatever, Techno or a Kyosho. Those are my choices. I've looked at Losi's, but unless it's just a smoking deal, and the guy's got fucking boxes and boxes of extra parts, and it's in mint condition, and it's a 4.0 Losi buggy, I won't get it. And I still have a hard time because, you know, as I told you guys before, I'm not a Losi guy. I don't really care for Losis. Not that they're bad vehicles. I just don't like the company that controls everything that they do, which is Horizon. So until Horizon or Losi, and that'll never happen, is not owned by Horizon, I will never own a Losi unless it's a 5th scale or a Muggie. Those are the only 2 exceptions to my Losi rule. Okay, I will never own a Losi vehicle unless it's a Muggie, the original Muggie, or a 5T or a 5B. Those are the only exceptions that I'll make for the Muggie Maniac purchasing a Losi vehicle. Other than that, I don't care for Losi, period. So anyway, so we got, so back to Mr. RC Nitro, whatever. I would run, to start out, see how you like it, because I don't know what your springs are, and I don't even know if your pistons inside of your shocks are stock. And if you need help on doing a shock video or how you do your shocks, let me know, because I'll do one of those, you know, in the next week or so, or whatever, when I get time. I'm just really, really busy trying to get all these vehicles. I got all kinds of shit coming in the mail. You know, I've got boxes that I haven't even opened. I've got shit that I did open I was going to show you guys, but this video is running long, so I don't have a lot of time to do that. And they're not real huge unboxings. How about I unbox the shit, either put it on, use it, or do apply it to my vehicles, and then I'll show you. So it's how about a after boxing, not an unboxing. I only really won't not waste my time, I should say. I will only spend time unboxing if it's like real big shit. Platforms, motors, radios, pipes. Other than that, I don't really care to unbox the little goodies and stuff like that. You know, some people do. I'm not. Anyway, back to this guy. Try 30 in the front and 40 in the back and see how that works for you. Like I said, I run 45 in the front and I run 50 in the back. And that's what works for me. But there's other things too, you know, where you set your ride height, and, you know, as far as your springs, the positions of your shock. There's a lot to shocks and a lot to suspension. But just for shocks in general, as far as the oil, and that's what we're talking about, shock oil, I would either use Associated is good. If you can't find that, Losi, you can find that. I use a lot more Losi just because it's good synthetic or good silicone oil, and it's a little bit cheaper than Associated. So I'm all about saving a buck, like I said. Losi's great shock fluids, and they have great oils, and they're a little bit cheaper than Associated. Now, are Associated's better? I don't know. That's personal preference. Maybe, I don't know. Lucas makes all their shit, so their shit's pretty damn good. You know. So anyway, that's pretty much what I got going on. That's what the Muggie. This is another hour video. I'm sorry I'm taking up all your guys all this time, but you know what it is. If you guys don't like my videos, they're too long, then don't watch them. That's all I gotta say. So there's the back of the Muggie, the rear end. See, that's what these manuals, that's what I'm telling you, man. If you guys have a way you can print out manuals or something, man, these things are so important. And I'm glad, man. Thank you, my mother, God, or my kids. God bless them. My kids love me. They said, Dad, you need to get up to speed. We're going to get you a nice Canon printer, copier for your room. I'm like, yes. And I just went crazy and probably used all the ink and toner in one shot, just printing out all these manuals for my vehicles. So all my whips now have manuals. So whenever I need, and you can go online, whenever I have an issue with any of them, like because I haven't torn the Muggie apart in a long time, and I'm like, fuck, man, I forgot how to do this. Hold on. Oh, yeah, I got an owner's manual. Snaps! There we go. Make sure you get that shit the way it should be. So anyway, kind of felt like a rookie having to break out that and look at it. But hey, man, I want to do my shit. I don't want to fuck nothing up. I make sure it's put back together. And if you take them apart all the time, put them back together, then you eventually know. Like the Mugen buggy, man, I mean, in my other vehicles that have been taken apart more because I've been running them more than, I don't run the Muggie that much, and it probably won't be run for a while. I ran the shit out of it last time. You guys seen the video, man, and hey, I escaped running this thing without anything breaking, and because I cringe when if something happens to this thing because they don't make it no more, man. It's hard to run the hell out of something that's discontinued and parts are hard to get, and that's what it is. So if there are people out there that you're thinking about getting an XTM Mammoth, do your homework first, man, because they don't make this thing anymore. Did they even say the year that it came out on here? I thought I seen a year on one of these papers. Somebody asked me that. When did the Muggies come out? Fucking like 2005? 2003? Something like that? Like over a decade? Long time ago. I don't remember. I think it's 2005. There's a date on here somewhere. But anyway, if you get one, you can find them out there. You can get them pretty cheap. I recommend it. It's a good vehicle to learn on. It's not real complicated. It's a lot of the parts and the way that everything works is easy to get to know and learn. It's completely different. It'll throw you off from running one of these, and then you get into a new, anything, Mugen or a Techno. You'll be like, whoa, this is like completely different. But it's good to learn on. This is my first RTR. And I don't really care to own any RTRs anymore. Have I ever thought about buying an RTR, honestly, lately? No. My answer is no. Why? I want to build one. Fuck RTRs. Nothing, for newbies, yeah. Even for newbies, like I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. I don't recommend an RTR to a newbie. If that's all you can get, then it's all you can get. I recommend a kit. Learn the vehicle. Build that thing. It's so much easier to maintain when you know how it all works because you built it compared to just getting one already put together and you don't know shit about how anything works unless you rip it apart, which most people won't. I do. When I bought all these vehicles, man, got torn apart when I got them because they didn't come. Even my kits. The buggy, the two Truggies aren't originally. Those aren't RTRs. Those are race kits. Did I build them? Well, yeah, now. many times. So anyway, that's all I got, everybody. Like I said, I'm not going to waste no more time with my videos of people that are hating and because that's what they want. They want the Muggie to get rattled. They want him to waste his time talking about their bullshit. He said, she said, BS. I'm not going to talk about that. So, and if these people want to test me and call me out, go ahead, man. But I will warn you, you keep messing with the bull. There's an old saying, you keep messing with the bull, you're going to get the fucking horns. Okay? So, I'll leave you with that. Anyway, that's the Muggie Man. If you guys have any more questions, comments, other things, I'm sure I'm missing something. A lot of guys are bombarding me with asking me different things. What do I suggest? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. There's a guy who asked me those P3 Pico .28s, 7 ports, okay? Like the one that I'm getting ready. I'm going to rock this sucker with the Novorossi pipe and set up in the Mugen MBX7, okay? So when you see the 7 running again, it's going to have Pico power, baby. Okay, go on eBay, punch in Pico P3.28. You'll see the motor. It's $135 shipping and handling. Depending on where you're at, less than $150. You got a bone stock motor. I suggest run that motor stock, break it in, get a feel for it, see how it reacts and acts, and then decide if you want to get it modded. But as a stock .28 and you're a new guy, I don't recommend you getting it modded. Run that thing stock for forever, stock, and then maybe decide later and then just buy another one and send it to whoever you want and get it modded. But stock, it's a good motor. From what I hear, I don't know, okay? I will tell you that I never ran that thing stock. I'm gonna get me another one, and I'm gonna run it stock and keep it stock. Like I said, the Muggie likes to have one stock and one modded. Although my Novarossi 28.8s, Rex Legend, I love those. I've got a few of them, so I'm going to have a couple modded. And I'll still only have one stock, but I'll have a couple modded too. So, all right, that's an hour of your time. You know, I'm not going to apologize for taking up your time, but, you know, there's so many people that ask me so many questions and want me to help them out with things. And that's what I'm here for, man. Don't feel that you can't ask me. I'm not the guy that takes videos or makes videos and then at the bottom of my thing says, comments are not allowed. What kind of fucking retard would do that? Why? What are you hiding from? You don't want people to tell you the truth, is what that tells me. You don't want to have to deal with the people telling you what's up. You want to be Mr. King shit on Turtle Island and be in control. That's what that tells me. When somebody you watch your videos and then you can't make any comments below, it's turned off, there's a reason. Okay? Not only that person really knows the true reason, but I'm just speculating. So anyway, that's all I got. Muggie Maniac is out. Peace. Remember, you guys with your shelf bitches, again, I will always remind you, set your piston bottom dead center. Don't fuck your motor up. And make sure you put some Muggie sauce in there with your afterrun oil. All right, people, I'm out of here. Peace.